This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your source for the latest Iowa ag news headlines right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, Mark Magnuson, and Andy Peterson. Now from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Friday, August 15th, 2025, and we're so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I will be joined by Sam Trainor of agmarket.net for our closing markets. And also, it will be Dustin Huffman's conversation from Iowa Corn Day here at the Iowa State Fair. And that's next here on Ag Matters PM.
Here at the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, Iowa State Fair 2025 at the Iowa Corn booth. It's Iowa Corn Day. And we're talking with Iowa Corn Growers President Stu Swanson. Stu, thanks so much for taking a few minutes here today.
Thanks, Dustin, and welcome to Iowa Corn Day.
So tell us a little bit about what's going on for Iowa Corn Day. What's the message you're getting out to all these people here at the fair?
Yeah, this is really a great opportunity to celebrate what is all about Iowa, and certainly, like we like to say, corn grows Iowa. And so we're welcoming our members here today. We'll see a lot of green shirts. We expect about 1,500 of those members of the 7,300 that we have that'll show up today. We also have a scavenger hunt that helps explain some of the 4,000 products that Iowa corn goes into. And we highlight those at different areas of the fair. People that participate in our contest have opportunities to win some great prizes, celebrate by eating some of those corn-fed products that we're so proud of here to grow in Iowa.
Well, in fact, by our booth, by the big bowl there's a nice big hamburger sign out there talking about how Iowa corn, is involved with that. And I mean, it's a great way to let those consumers understand, because a lot of them, sometimes don't understand what the corn industry does in the state. Is it for human consumption? Is it for animal consumption? For fuel? What it does? And in fact, we do grow all of it here.
That's exactly right. It's feed for animals, it's fuel for your car, and it's food for us to eat. So of those 4,000 products, about 50% of the corn that we grow here in Iowa is used for ethanol, and we blend that in E10, E15, and E85. One of the great things that we can celebrate for ethanol is that over the past 15 years, we've saved drivers in Iowa $11 billion worth of fuel savings. So that's a huge part of Iowa corn, but certainly the animal feeding is another about 40%, and then we export 10 to 20% of our corn also. So other areas around the world need feed, fuel, and fiber also.
It's interesting too, as we're talking, just off to the side here, we can hear a conversation going on about ethanol and the blending and helping people understand what it's about and why getting E15 everywhere is important as well.
Yeah, about 20% of the fuel sold in Iowa is E15 blend. So we want to work harder here in Iowa, but we also want to reach out across the country and try to get nationwide E15. California is the last state that hasn't approved it for use in their state. But we have the support of one of their bodies of legislature as well as the governor. And so hopefully later this fall, we'll see that last state fall, and we can help bring that savings of 10 to 15 cents a gallon to everybody across the nation.
Now, of course, we know as a farmer as well, we got the WASDE report earlier this week, and I know on the national level, corn growers are definitely making sure that that message is getting back to the government that we need those trade opportunities. We need to get this stuff squared away. Hey, we're on board to make sure trade is fair for everybody, but we can't wait forever as agriculture.
No, and we're excited to see some frameworks announced. Certainly ethanol was one of the key ones for the EU. But we like you said, we are ready to see the details. Trade deals, announcements are great, but it really will only impact the farmers when those sales are starting to be made. So we're excited about the opportunity going forward. We have a huge crop coming in, a 222 bushel crop per acre here in Iowa and 188 nationwide. So we've never seen crops that good at this time of the year. So we're excited to keep moving. We need additional domestic demand as well as increased exports.
So as you talk to the farmers, first of all, here at the State Fair, what kind of things are you hearing from them? Because you're talking to people from all corners of the state.
Yeah, good crops everywhere. Certainly there'll be pockets where Mother Nature wasn't quite as friendly as we would hope. Either a little bit of excess water or some wind damage, but really it's been a year of fantastic growing conditions here in Iowa. we have some concerns about prices of fertilizer. Certainly input prices are at an all-time high compared to commodity prices. So if you look at the number of bushels of corn that it grows to buy a ton of fertilizer, we are at a level that we have not seen in history. The second highest level was in 2008, and at that time the ethanol industry was just starting to ramp up, and so we saw increased corn acreage, we saw demand for fertilizer. But now if we compare that same number of bushels of corn that it takes to buy a ton of fertilizer, we're at an all-time high.
All right, and of course also getting that story out to the consumers who aren't involved in agriculture and talking to those folks. What's the message you've been giving them out here and helping educate them on what Iowa corn production is all about?
Yeah, so Iowa people, we stay together. We need support right now because margins are so tight on the farm. We're looking going forward not only in the corn sector but in other of the major crop growing areas where we're going to be producing at a loss. And so we ask for your support. Continue to eat corn-fed meat, dairy, poultry. Fill your car with E15. Give it a try. Any car newer than 2001 is approved for use of E15. So save yourself those extra pennies each fill and help support your neighbor and farmers here in Iowa.
All right, well, Stu Swanson's been our guest here, president of the Iowa Corn Growers. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dustin.
Thank you so much to Dustin Huffman for that conversation here at Iowa Corn Day at the Iowa State Fair. It is time now for our closing markets. I will be joined by Sam Trainor of agmarket.net next. But first, a word from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soybean Checkoff.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Time now for the closing markets on Ag Matters PM, and I'm joined by Sam Trainor of agmarket.net. Sam, what did we see in the trade in the grains here today on Friday?
We saw a firm end of the week, a really good week for soybeans especially. Corn did make new life of contract lows earlier in the week, but had a really good finish to the week, ending about 8 cents higher on the day here going into the weekend. Looks like we might have a warmer and drier forecast as we go through the end of August. And also hearing some reports out in the field that maybe this crop isn't as big as what USDA is anticipating. So maybe a little bit of anticipation ahead of next week's ever important Pro Farmer Crop Tour.
And to your point about the crop tour, Sam, is there going to be enough information coming out of the tour from the boots on the ground to potentially move the ag markets one way or the other?
It's a great question. And you look back year over year, and generally the crop tour does not have a huge effect real time on the grain markets. However, it's always on the minds of traders. And I think this year is especially on the minds, considering we're looking at such a monster yield estimate, especially for corn. 188.8 is nearly 10 bushel above the national record that we currently sit at. So there's going to be a lot of focus on that, in my opinion, that if this crop isn't out there and say Pro Farmer comes in 185 or 180, they're not going to be tick for tack with the USDA. We all know that. And it's not going to be a surprise if they're not. But if they start finding some reports that really, put down the reports here, could be something to pay attention to.
And Sam, from what I understand, the number from USDA largely based on that satellite imagery, whereas, of course, the crop tour is going to be boots on the ground, getting a chance to get out in those fields and see exactly what's happening. Is that the big change or the big differences between those two and why we could see potentially some different numbers?
100%. You drive down the road and you just look out from the field. Look out to the field from the road and everything looks phenomenal. Soybeans specifically, with all this rain, all the vegetative growth that we've had, they're big, robust. They look great. Same with the corn crop. We've had plenty of rain, so it's got that nice deep green look to it. It's tall, but you can't see the disease from the road, and you can't see the tip back on the ears from the road. And that's, like you said, the surveyed results that they're taking from satellite imagery. That's more or less the same thing that we're seeing from the road. It looks great to look at it, but when you actually get boots on the ground and pull some husk back, We're hearing a lot of tip back, a lot of disease pressure, even starting to hear some white mold for soybeans. So, I think that that the number we saw earlier this week in terms of yield could be the high point of the year as far as that's concerned. So it'll be really interesting to see what this crop ends up doing here as we finish out.
Cattle markets took a downturn on Thursday. How are we looking in the ag markets on the livestock side here today?
Boy, I tell you what, Mark, cattle markets threw me for a loop today. I did an interview right around noon, and they were trading about $1 to $2 higher. And I was on a phone call probably 30 seconds after that, and the client asked me, how's the cattle markets doing? And I had to do a double take because they were up about $4 to $6 just in that short amount of time from when Secretary Rollins gave her press conference. She came out today at noon and did not announce any proposed updates as far as opening the Mexican border. And like I said, it was almost instantaneously that cattle market just shot up. We finished the day up, I think $4 to $6, up around $4 in the fats and around $6 on the feeder. So another strong day. Looks like the stocks picture that has been fueling this market is not going to change anytime soon. We're still dealing with tighter stocks and trying to catch up to that cash market. But if the cattle aren't out there, the cash market's going to continue to scream higher.
Sam Trainor of agmarket.net, my guest here today. Sam, what's the best way for our viewers to get in touch for more marketing information?
Best way would be to visit our website at agmarket.net or give us a call at 1-800-779-1515.
Sam, thanks for the analysis here today. Always appreciate it, and we'll speak again soon. Have a good weekend.
All right, you do the same. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you to Sam Trainor of agmarket.net for our closing market information here today. Let's take a look at the numbers and how the markets closed. And you can find that information anytime under the Markets tab of our website at iowaagnet.com. September corn closes up 8 3/4 at 383 3/4. September soybeans up 14 3/4 at 1022 1/4. September soybean meal down 90 cents at 283.40. September soybean oil up $1.19 at 53.18. Chicago wheat up 3 cents at 506 1/2. Minneapolis wheat down a penny at 571. Kansas City hard red wheat up 2 3/4 at 507 even. September oats up 2 1/2 at 334 1/2. On the Merc, August live cattle up 290 at 236.25. August feeder cattle up 575 at 346.15. October lean hogs up 98 cents at 90.10. October pork cutout unchanged at 102.23. Class 3 milk up a penny at 17.39. That's going to wrap up our market coverage for today and bring us to the end of today's show. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media at Facebook and X, and you can listen to our morning, midday, and closing market podcast, as well as our daily episodes of our Iowa Ag Matters podcast at Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa State Fairgrounds in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. For the rest of the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network team, thanks for watching Ag Matters PM.